Maybe we should talk about this guy.
I think that's a grand idea. Which you ended up building this flute. Basically, you built the whole thing.
Well, I came across this wood making a base for the shamisen statue.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, the neck on my shamisen statue is Indian rosewood. And I was like, I want some Indian rosewood on the base so it matches that. I was like, Brent, do you even have Indian rosewood, or is that too plain for you? Is that too common? And you were like, yeah, it's up there in the rosewoods. And I cut a piece, and this purple wood came out. I was like, Brent, let's make a flute out of that before I leave. So I made one.
Like Pablo, I got other flutes I got to work on making.
I know.
And you're
always.
like, I'll do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, we also took the advantage of making it because we were having some issues with the lathe.
Yeah.
And we wanted to make...
Oh, that's right, to test the boring.
Yeah.
Before we made this guy. Yeah. That's...
Indian rosewood. Wow.
No way.
Look at how it looks here.
No way.
Right?
Oh, this is going to be fantastic. The sound.
Yeah.
The sound that makes even with the blade going. Did you hear that? With a ring?
Yeah, at the very end.
Yeah, it was the blade ringing through it.
It sings. Oh.
Look at that.
Whoa.
It is.
It's incredible.
Dude, this is the best I've ever seen. The best I've ever, and to think this was a palette.
Yeah, right?
That's why we did it, for sure.
And then I was like, well, I'm going to finish it. Now that we started.
Yep.
I have video of that.
So we've been working on some new techniques for a finish. And
for a couple of reasons.
Yeah. One of the biggest problems that I have, Pablo, is that finishing our flutes can go quick and fast, but if anything goes wrong...
Quick and fast, Brent, because even when it's quick and fast, it's not
several
quick
hours.
and fast. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, several hours.
At least.
Several hours of effort.
Yeah.
And even if everything goes very, very smooth, you're looking at 2 to 3 hours just for the finishing process. Minimum.
For you.
For me.
Right.
Who knows what he's doing.
Well, yeah, that has the experience and the...
Exactly.
Yeah.
You want an employee or somebody else, another story altogether.
Oh, yeah.
And if there's a problem, that can go from 2 to 3 hours to 4 to 6 to 7 to 8. It can absolutely spiral completely out of control, and next thing you know, you make another mistake on the flute, something else happens, and you got to fix something else.
Yeah.
It goes crazy.
And there are usually problems when it comes to finishing and polishing.
The finish is the most difficult part of what we do.
I agree.
Without any question.
Yeah.
And the most difficult part of the finish is getting the nest area correct. And the thing is if it's not, it affects the sound.
Oh, 100%.
It affects how it plays. It affects the dynamic capabilities. It affects all of those things if you can't get that geometry proper on the finish in the nest area.
Yeah. You get leaks.
Yeah.
Right?
If you have an air leak, the flute sounds airy, it takes too much breath.
It doesn't respond when you attack it.
Exactly. You don't have the response, and you don't have the tonal richness. It sounds thin.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like we're potentially developing not just one more way of finishing, maybe two.
Yes, yeah. So basically using the same types of materials that we've been using, but doing a wipe-on finish with very little material being applied to the flute.
Right.
And what that allows me to do is to not have to go back in and mill the voice box, which is the biggest problem. Milling this voice box flat, the finish, what that means is taking an end mill, coming down and removing maybe 10 thousandths of an inch of material and leaving 3 to 10 thousandths of an inch of material on the flute.
Well, one of the things that is hard to get from videos about the mill is the mill is a super precise machine.
Super precise.
What that means is you have to be super precise in how you clamp a flute.
Yes, and you need to be super precise in what you're doing. Like on the Celebrations flute, I dove into that and we had to come up with a whole new inlay scheme for the flute because I screwed something up.
What I find very hard in the mill is to be able to clamp the flute and really get it flat,
level.
like get it leveled. Even though we have that cross level, which I mean, what else can you do? Well, maybe we can do something.
I've tried several different things, like digital and things like that. But I agree, Pablo. I think there's another possibility.
And when you're shaping the nest area without finish, fine.
No big deal.
You're right, because you can get a little more here, a little less here, but boop, you even everything out.
Yep.
You put the finish. Now you have 2 challenges. The first is the finish is not flat.
Nope.
So now you put a level on it, and it's not showing the level in relation to the wood. It's showing it in relation to the finish. Now you go into the mill, and you go into the wood on one side, and it's like, well, I have to finish that again.
Yep.
The other thing, there was another thing. I forgot.
The other thing, it's a complex process, matey, it's hard.
Yeah.
And here's the funny thing. You come away one day, you're like, oh, man, I finally figured it out. I got this dialed. It's working awesome. And then you put the next flute in and you're like, how did that happen? So this wipe-on finish is thin enough that we're currently being able to get it flat enough in the voice box that we don't have to go back in and mill it. And
that is great.
It can be milling the finish in the flute, typically it's like 15 to 30 minutes to mill it properly.
Yeah.
If it goes well.
Yeah, exactly.
If it doesn't go well, it could be a 4-hour process easily.
Yeah.
And it's happened to me many times. And you don't know exactly why it didn't work. So the wipe-on finish, our hope with it is to be able to produce a beautiful instrument that doesn't have that same complex problem.
Yeah.
Now, it is not anywhere close to as beautiful as our normal finish. When we apply our finish properly, or how we normally do, the end result, you have a super flat surface that has incredible clarity and allows you to see deep into the wood and get that wood to shine its light deep back out to you. And we get that pretty good with the wipe on, but like on this one, you can see the porosity.
So, I mean, this is a subjective subject.
It is, totally.
Which is partly why we want to experiment with it.
Exactly.
And I would imagine that throughout the years, people have asked you, can you make a flute that has a finish where you can feel the wood?
Yep. And this gives a hint of that.
Well, especially the wipe-on without polish.
See, but that's even thinner. This has got, I think I did 3 coats on this.
At least.
Yeah.
This one is at least 3 coats, light sand, polish.
Yep.
The lightest wipe-on is wipe-on, out. Done.
Out the door.
Out. Now, that one feels the most natural wood.
Yes,
right.
Agreed. But the problem with that one is that,
there's problems to both.
Yeah.
Challenges.
One of the challenges with that wipe-on finish is it's not good for every wood.
Exactly.
That if somebody wants a Buckeye burl, there's no way I'd ever do that finish on it.
Yeah.
No way. The flute would end up breaking on them. They'd be very unhappy.
So I feel like these finishes we're working on have 2 reasons. They will ideally lower the cost of the instrument.
Help us keep things more affordable.
We're saying ideally, but we have to experiment more. And second, because I feel like some people will find this finish cooler.
And maybe we should do a video where we talk just about finish.
Well, I was going to bring up some of the pros and cons that I quickly see on each.
Yes.
Because, for example, if you want to lower the cost on this finish, which I feel people would want, it means that you're not going to be able to cover up imperfections on the wood like our original finish does.
Yes.
Right? Wood has so many imperfections, and it's part of the beauty as well.
It is.
Right? There are holes, cracks. It's so common.
Bark inclusions.
Yeah, and to make a finish like this, it means that you're not gonna cover everything up nearly as well. It's also not gonna be as resistant in general.
It's not gonna be as strong.
It's not.
It just can't be. It's not as thick.
We feel that the thicker finish sounds better.
I do. I really do.
And I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
So there are things.
Particularly when you're looking at softer woods.
Yeah. To give that reflection, give a little more reflection.
Exactly.
Yeah. But we should make a video in more detail when you experiment more with these finishes.
Let's do that.
Okay.